Reserve time.
Ladies and gentlemen, can you believe we're still here? Can you believe that this is still a thing? Welcome back to the NoShang Invitational. We've passed through an entire major and another major S qualifiers, but we're still here. This is the penultimate match though, and if you don't know what that means it's the second to last match. There's one of these Power Rangers going up against Kaipi. Then winner of this is going to be facing Fantastic Five in the grand finals, which, knowing this tournament, is going to be happening in 2017. So, buckle in for that. But I'm Mikelorus, going to be your caster for today, and we have ourselves an interesting match. Kaipi, a pretty big reason why they actually got here in the first place was because they had that very, very short-term Zai stand-in. And it did some pretty good work up against Adfinem, who I would have thought would have taken the whole thing, but here we are, Kaipi going up against now Power Rangers, who just won a grinder in another tournament. It was like 50 minutes, racks, battles, something. I wasn't really watching that, honestly. But yeah, Power Rangers, I would say a slight favorite because Kaipi, you don't really know what to expect from these guys. They lost Come With Me. The second guy is MDL, I want to say, and then the fourth guy is the Kun. And then you have Bone 7, Sing, and Bambo on 1, 3, and 5, respectively. So, they have some people still here, but as far as playing as a team, Power Rangers probably are going to be able to do that just a little bit better. Going down their names, got Bignum, Goddamn, J4, Undershock, and then Cheshire Cat. So, definitely a comfortable group of guys, at least with one another. But we have ourselves a draft. We'll see who is able to take it here, if anyone at all. This is best of 3 mode, so yeah, don't panic. First loss isn't going to mean the end of the world. Eldest and Tinker, definitely an interesting opening here for Kaipi. They do run kind of these weirder strats, but I'm not really sure if this is maybe a little bit of overcompensation going up against the Terrorblade. The TB usually wants to be going for these timing-based pushes, and with the Darkseer on his team, that is all the more likely because you're able to get a mechanism up on the Darkseer. Then you have the extra sustain to go for that push. And yeah, March the Machines, missile spam, that is very annoying. But if Power Rangers get any sort of initiation, then, knocking out that Tinker first, or even not playing in that style, is definitely a possibility for PR. Like, they would like to go for that, but they're not investing all into this kind of slow siege type strategy. They can definitely deviate at this point and have Terrorblade play a little bit of a slower game. You're still going to be able to, 9 times out of 10, do some pretty serious work early game versus those towers. Like the tier 1s, you could pretty easily take those down. Looking at tier 2s, tier 3s, they can probably sit on that for a little while longer. They can definitely play the later game, but they're going to go ahead and grab the Shadow Demon, which is kind of like disrespect to the Tinker, honestly, and the Elder Titan, both of whom are really good at dealing with this kind of slow, grindy siege style from Power Rangers. Outside of Shadow Demon just being a nice defensive response to an Elder Titan, it is a very, very aggressive response when you're pushing down towers if you have Terrorblade on your team, which of course they do. Make a couple of illusions of the TB, and these disruption illusions do some pretty serious work. 75% damage when you're hitting for like 200 damage a pop is no joke. But again, you're working up against the Spirit of the Elder Titan, you're working up against Tinker Spam, which works very well with the Elder Titan. So Terrorblade's usual weakness of being fragile is going to be all the more apparent here. And I think it is going to be, both sides really needing some initiation at this point, because it is not really there for either team. Ricky, somehow still in the pool, is going to be picked up now. That's going to help out Power Rangers to maybe just snowball and then, just be so far ahead they don't have to worry about that lack of initiation. But that is, Ricky and Shadow Demon, kind of a clunky combo. You generally want to have an immediate stun after Shadow Demon Disruption. Kunkka, Marana, Lena, those type of heroes. Smokescreen after it is okay, but then you're really leaning heavily on the Terrorblade in order to get that damage done, at least in this early laning phase. You have the Ricky with the Darkseer as far as applying pressure to the Kaipi safe lane, and that in of itself is pretty nice value. And with the Tidehunter here, maybe they won't need that much help to actually shove him out of lane. Maybe Kaipi are just going to say, Tidehunter, just go straight to the jungle and just be okay with that. Kaipi now have this team fight of theirs pretty well set up. The initiation is still really clunky from Kaipi, and Dazzle isn't going to make that any better. But as long as their Tinker gets an okay amount of farm, then I think Kaipi should be able to hold off these aggressive plays coming out from PR. It doesn't even have to be like an incredible amount of farm on Tinker. If he's ahead, great. You know, you're ahead. Good job. You could easily crush the likes of Terrorblade, the Terrorblade, and the Riki, and also to some extent the Darkseer. They are all pretty heavily invested in that armor. So Kaipi, just with a pretty heavy last pick, and just get a really big right clicker, you could tear down Terrorblade. And of course, these heroes are rather fragile as well outside of their armor. Riki, Terrorblade go through with magic damage, and usually you're going to have a good time, especially when that's also amplified by Elder Titan. And when that magic damage is the scale of a Tinker, then it is really, really serious.
5 seconds remaining.
So Kaipi, they have the Dazzle. Going for someone like Sven at this point seems pretty reasonable. Juggernaut as well. Honestly, it doesn't really seem like they really need all that much. As long as the last pick is able to do some significant right-click damage, the earlier you get online, the better. Ooh, Timbersaw. Okay, well, no right-click damage then. The Elder Titan is going to not get the most value in this game outside of his just natural damage output. But still, Timbersaw is able to do pure damage, which is better than both physical and magic. You could tear through a Terrorblade pretty darn quickly.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Alright. Yeah, but the Timbersaw from Kaipi is just going to be another way to hold this off. Now they have the missiles, they have the Elder Titan Spirits, the March, and the Chakram. And PR's lack of initiation is going to mean that they really can't easily get on top of a Tinker and bring him down beforehand. Looking for a mid lane selection here for Power Rangers that initiates. I mean, I guess you could go for Invoker, or okay, there's Initiator right there. Storm Spirit is the pick. The advantage of the Storm Spirit is that, yes, they were really, really lacking some way of starting that fight. Now they do have it, and the Storm Spirit is not going up against all that much in the way of crowd control. Ravage, Stomp, both of which you are going to struggle to land on a Storm Spirit, at least reliably. It means that this Storm's life in the mid-late game should be pretty decent. He is a hero that you want to have going up against Tinker. Just being able to constantly chase him down with Ball Lightning, the vision that you get from the Remnants is huge. The downside is that he has to get to that late game, first of all. That mid-late game. He has to get off the ground, and that's really where Storm Spirit struggles. Now, fortunately for him, Dazzle Elder Titan is not really a huge pressure combination as far as applying pressure towards the mid lane, but just the matchup versus Tinker is really, really bad for the Storm Spirit. He's purely a right-clicker in lane. Like, as far as static Remnant harassment, Tinker should not be hit by that pretty much ever, and you really have to be willing to trade hits. He does have a Riki on his team, and the Riki is going to have to help out quite a bit. But when the Riki is not there, then Tinker with his laser should just be completely locking down this lane. I do think that this Storm Spirit is probably one of the better picks that Power Rangers can grab, especially since the puck was banned out. The pool of initiating mid lane heroes at that point is very, very, very small. So they're going to kind of take this risk here, but they kind of dug themselves into that hole. And it's going to be a little bit of test phase here for Kaipi. Their late game isn't incredible. I mean, they are going up against a late game Terrorblade. But still for Power Rangers, going for this Riki, going for this Shadow Demon, does indicate that they really want to hit this 25-minute mark. At that point, all Tier 2 towers, at least the plan should be all Tier 2 towers on the other end are dead or dying. And they should be looking for Roshan, looking for those Tier 3s. And hopefully they're able to stall out this Tinker, stall out this Timbersaw. The damage that these two are able to do in the late game, especially with an ET, is fairly high. So, even though Terrorblade is pretty dangerous as the late gamer, a Aghanim Scepter build on Tinker will completely crush this TB. You get the bouncing laser, suddenly everything's missing, and suddenly you need to get yourself a, whatchamacallit, MKB. You're actually going to be hitting things in that laser. So we'll see if Kaipi, who I think are the underdogs here, able to put this together. It's all about defense. It's all about controlling those lanes, making sure that the Tinker doesn't get obliterated by a Riki and Storm. Not really the most dangerous combination, Riki Storm, but it is definitely something that the Tinker has to worry about. They have to watch their TPs and stuff. Take a look at the Lawmen beating up the wrong guy. I don't know what that means, Bone7. I have no idea what that means. I'm pretty sure it's like some song lyric. I feel like some players do that sometimes. I don't freaking know. Who knows, guys? By the way, going to be loading out into the lanes, and it looks like it should, for the most part, be what you expect. Tidehunter going towards off lane. He is going for a non-Iron Talon opening. Does indicate he wants to stick around a little bit more. This Riki can very easily stick around here as well, but again, Terrorblade only situationally powerful in this lane. Anchor Smash does kind of crush him, not really damage-wise, just by swinging the base damage. And ET being here as well means that this lane is not going to be completely free for Power Rangers, but this is also pretty risky for Kaipi. The lane is powerful enough here for Power Rangers that they should be able to, at least situationally, deal some pretty heavy damage to Kaipi, get good damage trades. And that is usually just going to be by using the Metamorphosis. So putting two heroes here, none of whom have actually a build-up towards Iron Talon. That is something that PR can exploit if they just win the first couple of engagements through outplays. But of course, towards top lane, we have ourselves most likely going to be just a Timbersaw matchup versus Darkseer, which is very, very interesting. I'm not actually sure if I've seen that matchup in this patch. But hey, I mean, the Timbersaw is going to be pressured by the Ion Shells. But Ion Shell versus Reactive Armor, usually it's going to be close to a wash. Get a Dazzle on top of that, and usually it's going to be completely even. Bambo is going to land a Stomp onto 2. Luckily for him, that's just going to be enough to get him out of there. He does have the Wind Laces. Pretty standard ET opening here. That otherwise would have been pretty bad for him, actually. Still, Bounty Runes, I think, are just completely traded. Yeah, both for the mid lane. We'll see how this mid lane is actually going to be breaking down here. The Undershock, Storm Spirit going up against Bone 7's Tinker. March of the Machines first. Not really going to be incredibly useful for him. Gotta watch out for that laser. Gotta watch out for this bottom lane as well, because they're going to go again to Bambo. They don't have Smokescreen, but they do have the Metamorphosis. Anchor Smash is going to destroy the damage output of Terrorblade. Another one is going to continuously apply that debuff. So it's going to be Bambo booking it to the left. But he's still not taking, not really doing any damage here. This is a dual lane where the Eldritine is now forced away, and that in and of itself is a little bit of a win here for Power Rangers. The downside is that they use the Metamorphosis for that, and you really don't want to be wasting Metamorphosis in that style. Up towards top lane, Cheshire Cat, definitely a veteran Darkseer player, is going to be going up against a potentially very dangerous lane. Whirling Death hits pretty darn hard. They actually found someone else. It's going to be the Tidehunter. Is that a full surround? Yes, 4 points around! Warcraft 3, where you at? Tidehunter is gonna fall. Now, you know, usually, as I said earlier, you want to follow up your disruption with, you know, a Torrent or an LSA, or you could just get that 4-point surround and make sure that the Tidehunter literally can't move. That's good too. It is very difficult to actually make that happen. But since they have 2 disruption illusions, they have the Riki and they have a Terrorblade who can also make illusions, there's just so many things that you could use to surround the Tidehunter. And even with Anchor Smash, Kraken Shell, it is going to be at least you with the possibility of getting a kill. And that's the type of start that PR need in order to secure this lane. Because again, this Tidehunter and Eldritine, they're kind of forced to stick around in this area. They're trying to do what they can. They're going to get disrupted one more time. More Shadow Poison, 2 stacks in fact, and to Bambo. Third one lands, I think he's just dead. Third one is going to connect. Is that it? That's only level 1. It's not quite enough damage there. They will lose the Shadow Demon, but to a neutral. That kind of sucks. And over towards mid lane now, Bone 7. Looks like he got jumped by the Riki, but it's only a level 1 Riki, so no smoke screen. That means no, not that much threat going in towards the Tinker. No Blink Strike either. If he's able to grab level 2, 2 shots on the Tinker, I think might just be a kill. Ziggy, you gotta watch out, bro. Yeah, Storm Spirit gonna chug his bottle. And Darkseer, by the way, is also getting his ass kicked in the jungle. This is level 2. I think this is level 2 on this creep. Oh, they're gonna almost have the perfect timing. Ziggy's gonna have some help here. It is Bambo. Jump in. No hit, though. That was awkward as hell. But still, it is 1-0 for Power Rangers. CS-wise, it is looking fairly even across the board. And all the cores are getting about almost exactly the same amount of CS, actually, and the supports are getting pretty much nothing. Actually pretty good for the Storm Spirit. This is not, as I said earlier, the cleanest matchup. Even help with the Riki isn't going to be doing a ton for him. Stun from the Eldritine is going to stomp the Storm Spirit. There's a right click, there's a missile. We'll grab the Storm kill pretty easily. And ET, pretty fair and balanced hero. Bottom lane, that's again going to be the Tidehunter surrounded again in the 4 points. And they will actually not get the kill. He was TPing out. Why didn't I see that animation? Did the animation appear on my screen? I was just crazy. I did not recognize that he was teleporting out there. Okay. Maybe he was just surrounded by too many things. I couldn't even see it. Maybe I'm blind. Who knows? Could be any one of those things. But either way, they do force the Tidehunter out. He's still going to stick around in this lane. It's going to be a lane with no Metamorphosis, so it's at least slightly better. But still, Kaipi getting a decent amount on this Tinker. Now looking for another Storm kill. He does not have level 6 right now. He's going to get hit with a pretty big Shadow Wave, trying to slow him down with the Overload. A little bit of damage here onto Bambo with the Spirit there. Right clicks from Ziggy will just straight up get the kill. And this is, I mean, pretty much what you would expect with the Tinker versus Storm Spirit matchup. Like, even without the Elder Titan giving Ziggy this lane, Bone 7 should still be able to do almost as much as he's getting done right now. And the Riki needs to be able to help out there, but he hasn't really had the experience to do so. If you get level 3, you can definitely help out the Storm Spirit. Get level 6 on the Storm, and he's going to be just fine. But seeing as though neither of those are the case, it's just Kaipi running this mid lane, and Power Rangers kind of at the mercy of Bone 7. Now, the struggle here for Kaipi is that even though they may be getting ahead on the heroes that matter, the Tinker, the Timbersaw, these heroes are only good at, I mean, they're not good at taking objectives, let's say that. Like, they don't kill structures worth of damn, they cannot kill Roshan well, so it's going to be them to have to get very, very far ahead. Like, so far ahead that they could just go in kind of impervious to anything and just kind of bully Power Rangers. That's what they want to do, that's what they have to do if they want to take these objectives. They have to just keep on getting kills in just an absolute merciless slaughter. It is something that is kind of a fault of their draft. They really don't have any sort of right-click scaler really at all. It's all about killing the enemy heroes. Maybe I think they kind of overcompensated in their draft. So they were prepared to deal with this aggressive play from Power Rangers. And they are very well equipped at defending. But as far as going back on the offense, as far as turning that stabilized game into a 1 game, I'm not really sure how they do that, honestly. Tidehunter right clicks, AC. Tinker with Mjolnir. With Desolator. I'm not really sure if that's something to be excited about. And oh, Storm, this is not something to be excited about. There's level 2 missile here. And again, he's just going to get run down. So much damage from Bambo and the Spirit. The Tinker's going to get a 3rd kill now on the Storm. Killing spree for the Tinker, and Storm still with no help. If you haven't seen any Riki shenanigans with the Darkseer just yet, he's going to steal a little bit of a stack here from Kaipi, which is kind of nice for the Riki. But bottom lane, another surround. No, they're looking for on the Tidehunter. He does have a Ravage. He's going to deploy it. Anchor Smash onto 2. Now with the TP coming in from the Dazzle, they're going to turn things around onto the Shadow Demon. Missiles, Laser, not quite going to kill off Goddamn, but they got the Shadow Demon in a corner, and he's definitely going to fall. Goddamn going to put himself in a corner as well. Oh, there's a haste rune on Ziggy. That's why he put himself there. He knew that he wasn't able to escape. Oh, no. Dig the Tinker out. Quick. Dig. Dig faster. He's getting killed by creeps. Okay, he's fine. Don't panic, guys. It's all okay. But it's another set of kills for Kaipi. A 3-for-0, actually, as the Riki dies to neutrals? Yeah, he dies to neutrals. Not a big deal. 2-for-0. But this is Ravage being used by the Tidehunter, having it not needed to go to the jungle. Does have his Arcane Boots mechanism into Guardian Greaves should be coming up next. And Power Rangers just seem like are not able to really get on the aggressive path versus these towers just yet. Very little, if any, damage being dealt to these structures. And Kaipi's Tinker, he's got the Soul Ring, got the Boots Bottle, should be now saving up for travels. His build is pretty balanced at this stage, which is not exactly incredibly common. But either way, it is still Bone 7 to be pretty much exactly where you want to be as a Tinker at this stage in the game, except for Disconnected. And we also have Sing Sing pretty much at the same spot. The matchup versus Darkseer is very easy when you have the help from the Dazzle. Reactive armor, pretty darn good, and he's also going for a perfectly balanced build. How often do you see this? Just everyone going like across the board skill-wise, very evenly. And once you get the first item on the Timbersaw, usually that Bloodstone, then things really take off. Timber Chain's gonna get him away before the smoke screen takes effect, but still a Blink Strike is there with the Ion Shell, and Timbersaw will die. That's the shenanigans I was talking about earlier. Ion Shell Riki is a thing. Being able to stick to your targets, being able to just grind them down without them realizing that they're taking damage, it's quite nice. But it seems like it's almost the wrong hero to kill off at this stage. It's not a bad hero to kill, it's a very good one, but you really have to turn your sights to this Tinker if you're PR. Because if the Tinker gets farmed, not only are your heroes going to be in more danger of just straight up dying, but also your game plan of being able to slowly grind out those towers with the Shadow Demon and the Terrorblade, that pretty much is not going to happen. And if Tinker gets a really, really high amount of farm, then even the Storm Spirit may not be able to use his natural kit, which is usually pretty good against Tinker in order to kind of counteract this hero. Like if Tinker is actually going to get that much experience because he's able to snowball with March of the Machines, it's not incredibly common, but it is very possible that we see that happening if Tinker is able to continue this game uncontested. So it is concerning the Power Rangers are not really answering this at all. Yeah, goddamn, now on the bottom lane, Ravage gonna connect onto the two of them. Not enough damage here, especially with the smoke screen. Goddamn, should be just fine. Now they're gonna turn things around with the Tide Hunter. We have the tricks of the trade there, and that will kill off the Tide, as Bambo is gonna get disrupted. Ricky blinks out, and it looks like he should be fine. Looking for a stomp, they're gonna connect onto the Shadow Demon. Do they know he's there? I think they see him. They definitely do see him. Hide. Don't move. Their vision is based on... Okay, he's dead. They lose the Tide Hunter one more time. He deploys the Ravage and fails to get the kill on Terrorblade. That type of engagement, a little bit better here for PR, but still not something that they can outright call a win. Mostly because Bone 7 was involved in that. Did he get the last hit? Oh, yeah, he did. Perfectly executed kills there from KP. And Kaipi are, yeah, just getting this Tinker exactly where he needs to be. Tide Hunter is struggling maybe a little bit, but already with the mana boots, he should be looking at a pretty well-timed mech. Even with no stacks, it is very possible to see that coming up. By the time they actually have this Bloodstone on the Timbersaw, that's really the time that you want to hit. Just get both those items around the same time, and you should be good to go. If you have an Earth Splitter on top of that, then, yeah, that's going to be pretty dangerous. Power Rangers, when are they actually going to make their move? Storm Spirit isn't really here that gets active early on. It's very, very rare that we see that. He needs his kind of his Bloodstone as well. He's not getting quite as much as the Timbersaw. He's running into a lot more problems death-wise. But it does seem like Power Rangers can't really start this push plan until just a little bit later. Now their late game Power Rangers is quite dangerous. So maybe they're just going to try to stall out for that. Get the Storm Spirit, just an incredible amount of farm. Terrorblade, same thing. Bottom lane though, Bambo dropping low. They do have a bubble onto the Tide Hunter. He's going to start chasing after Bambo. Echo Stomp, not even going to land. Gets popped by the Shadow Poison. They lose the Timbersaw on the top lane as well. Does something. It looks like he got kind of creep jacked there. And Kaipi continuously fighting over this bottom lane with the Tide Hunter is a little bit suspect. I mean, the hero with Anchor Smash is able to trade hits pretty well, but at a certain point, you're facing up against Terrorblade, and you can't really afford to do that without having a lot of burst damage behind you in either the Timber or the Tinker. And seeing as though neither of those two heroes was there, I mean, you're going to run into a lack of damage very, very quickly. And Shadow Demon at this point, level 6, is actually doing an incredible amount of damage. It is very easy to underestimate how much damage Shadow Poison does. He also has the Demonic Purge as well. 200 damage nuke, not really super impressive, but hey, it does damage. Especially when you land a Soul Catcher and land a couple stacks on the Shadow Poison. It is a very deceptive amount. Winning a couple more fights like that for Power Rangers. And at the same time getting their Dragonlance completed on Goddamn. Seems like their draft, at least for this moment right now, is able to make some aggressive plays towards the towers. Bone 7 does have his travels, but I think if Power Rangers really want to take down towers, they can just start pushing out the waves. They have to fear the March, they have to fear the Ravage. And if they don't get it, then it's most likely just going to be them conceding the next couple of minutes of this game. Aggressively at least, no huge aggressive plays. In order to get the Storm Spirit closer to his Bloodstone. But then at that point, once the Storm Spirit gets his Bloodstone, the Timbersaw is definitely going to have his Bloodstone, and then Kaipi are going to be at their strongest as well. It's awkward timings. There's no real definitive point in this game where one team is going to be crushing the other consistently. It really does depend on these item timings and how they're actually able to initiate. Speaking of, they're going to jump in towards Ziggy. Smokescreen is there as well. Bone 7 is going to die before the Grave lands. But the Storm, he hit with the Ravage. He's going to have enough to ball lightning out of there, though. With the stick charges now down to the low ground. Gush is going to land, but there's no follow-up. Bambo has a Spirit. He's going to chuck it out. It's only level 1, though. It is pretty quick. You're looking to intercept that Storm Spirit. He has no mana to dodge the Stomp, but I don't think Elder Titan can actually land it. It's going to be close. He does have just enough mana to get out of there. Whew, baby, that was close. Storm Spirit, Soul Ring, man, and it was the magic wand that really saved him there. Maybe a little bit too close to comfort, but they are able to pull out the Ravage of the enemy side and are able to get the Tinker without any casualties. That is a big, big win for Power Rangers. Goddamn, continuously farming in the bottom lane all the while. Already his Dragon Lance is up, so he has pretty much all he needs. Of course, going for more stats is definitely going to be the build when you have a Shadow Demon on your side. And they're looking at now Bambo, Storm Spirit, starting to kick into gear a little bit earlier than perhaps Kaipi were expecting him to. Doesn't have a ton of mana now. Stuck in a corner, but there's no CC here from Kaipi. The only real stun in the Echo Stomp just died. I don't know about you guys. My stream is looking perfectly fine. I'm watching it right now and there's no lag. So if there's any lag, it is on your side. Try switching browser. Try getting, I don't know, get a better computer. Power Rangers, do they have this mechanism up on the Dark Seer? He's actually gone for Hand of Midas, so Ziggy's gonna get pulled right in. Smoke Screen is there with the Blink Strike. Wall's gonna drop just for the damage value. I don't think they have enough to kill off this hero with the Ion Shells. They might just have enough. Tricks of the Trade. Oh, it's not enough. 24 HP slips out of there. Bambo now gonna dust up life. They got Timbersaw moving in. Stomp onto Cheshire Cat. And with the Earth Splitter coming in, they should be able to crack him down. They will. Life in the meantime, though, is gonna teleport out of there. Tinker, though, survives. Kind of bold there from Power Rangers to go for that play, but even though they do survive with the Tinker, they are going to have to put him right back out in the field before he's even regenerated enough. He's going to defend this bottom lane, no Metamorphosis push, but mid lane is also being pressured here by the Storm. 2,000 gold now on this hero. You really do need, I mean, you would love to have an Orchid here as a Storm Spirit. And that actually might just be the build here. He has 2,000 gold. I do like the Bloodstone build just a little bit better, but you're going up against a Tinker. If you're able to silence him in the middle of the fight, you're pretty much going to win it. Seems like Power Rangers, once they get this mechanism, might be just another timing they're waiting for. Just need the recipe to be completed here from Cheshire Cat. Hand of Midas Darkseer angling towards the late game is a reasonable way to go as well, because again, Kaipi, how do they actually push down Power Rangers towers? They don't, pretty much ever. Smoke up and around. They're going to run into an Elder Titan. He does have the Stomp. They do have the Disruption to cancel that one. If he starts channeling it, he will deploy the Stomp right now, land it onto Cheshire Cat, and he will be able to get himself out of there. Bubble now onto the Dazzle, but the Grave is already out, and now the Ravage comes in. They lose the Darkseer immediately with the laser. They'll pop another. Big ball ending in from the Storm Spirit, going to take down the Elder Titan, looking now for Bone 7. His damage output, though, not enough because he's out of mana, and he's also going to sacrifice his life. Kaipi looping around the back behind Power Rangers Smoke, going to use the Ravage, going to show off how much damage they can do, and yes, they lose the Elder Titan, but that initiation from Power Rangers was awkward as hell. Use all your mana to get in. I don't even think the ball lightning did any damage there. Like, inherently. And then Kaipi, they're going to find the Ricky. Kind of find the Ricky. Almost find him. They do see the stack. I don't think they can do anything about that, though. Yeah, Sing Sing doesn't want any part of that. Yeah, Power Rangers, they just go in way too deep. Like, you're diving a tier 1 tower, you gotta expect there's gonna be some response there. If you're not able to stomp, to cancel out the stomp, how do you actually kill off the Elder Titan when you're all stunned around him? It just seems like they maybe didn't expect that many heroes to be there. Ooh, Earth Splitter gonna come in, goddamn. Oh, almost connected. That was right on the edge. But now here's the awkward part for Kaipi. It's like, good job, guys. We got a whole bunch of the heroes on the enemy side killed. Now what? We have no Ravage. We have a Tinker who's decently farmed, but Bambo kind of caught out of position here. Jump in by the Ricky and the Storm. Smoke screen onto 2 heroes. Tricks of the Trade is there. Bambo will fall before the Stomp can land. They're going to turn around and try to go for the Ricky now. Bubble on the Shadow Demon's going to target himself accidentally, I think. They're still going to put a lot of damage into Sing Sing now. Vacuum back onto a wall. Onto 3. Sing Sing's going to fall. Tidinger's teleporting out. But I don't think the Dazzle has that same luxury. He's going to try to Grave TP. Tidinger's actually going to get his TP canceled by something. That means the Dazzle's going to live and the Tidinger will not. Much worse here for Kaipi. Sing Sing's going to return to the fight because the Bloodstone missile's still flying. He's going to dive right in. Take down only the Ricky, however. Storm, Terrorblade, the big targets, are going to slip out of there rather unharmed. Cheshire Cat kind of get separated from the squad. But it seems like Power Rangers, the only casualty there is the Ricky. They take down 3, keep this Timbersaw kind of low on his Bloodstone charges. Did he actually suicide the first time? He did. Yes, it is your problem, guys. If hey, I have the stream working perfectly. I'm watching it, no lag. So it is on your end, or it is on some sort of connections end in between me and you. What I mean to say is that there's nothing I can do to improve your viewing experience outside of what I have already done, because I have done the maximum. If you don't like it, then, well, tough shit. 10-11 though, Kaipi getting a couple kills here and there, still getting a decent amount of farm on their Tinker. Blink travels, and ooh, Stomp gonna miss. This is pretty much exactly where Tinker wants to be still. So the aggressive plays for Power Rangers aren't really going to be easy to execute at this point, but they can very easily switch gears, try to play this a little bit slower. Oh, Jesus, Storm Spirit got blended down. And they have the Terrorblade getting an incredible amount of gold right now. They just need the Storm Spirit to start following up as well. Kaipi going in pretty deep here. Spirit is here. Not really a great angle to stomp anyone in particular. Shadow Poison's going to be thrown out. No Storm Spirit in the area. He's very far away. He doesn't have an item to facilitate his jump in either. You're gonna look for Cheshire Cat instead. And Kaipi always has to be looking for those kills. With the Chakram there, they'll drop him low. He's just gonna surge himself out. Darkseer and Storm kind of gonna be the beneficiaries of this lack of CC. Missiles. Stomp is out of range, but the Timbersaw's not. That was a very, very close Timber Chain. Like, land on this tree and it doesn't happen, but land on this tree and you get the kill. Sing Sing showing off. But as long as they just get a kill and nothing else, what do they actually do with this? Like, yeah, nice kill. You're actually gonna get to a point where you can go for any objective anytime soon. Because Power Rangers can do that. You can just rat it out. Did Bambo just get spotted by a random sentry ward in the mid lane? I think he did. There's Ricky with a lot of sentries here. Storm Spirit doesn't have any. Pushing down bottom lane in the meantime. Golden 7 is going to be here to try to hold it, but it's a little bit too late. Tower's already down. Sunder's available for goddamn. They're going to have to stun him or burst them down. That's very difficult. He's going to reflect at the Tidehunter. Stomp now from Bambo. Going to connect. Where's the Earth Splitter? There it is. Storm Spirit not going to jump in just yet. Ravage with the Earth Splitter. Perfectly done. Killed him in an instant before he can get that Sunder off. Now the Ricky in the back. Looks like he's able to slip away, but they do take down the Terrorblade and a big kill for Kaipi. But again, the question, is it good enough to actually get anything off of that? Otherwise, it's kind of an expendable loss. Power Rangers can lose all these heroes if they're not losing anything afterwards. Not really going to matter. Ravage is down. Tidehunter, though, isn't really without backup. He's got entirely his team here. Storm Spirit's going to get the hell out of there. Shadow Demon, unfortunately, doesn't have that same luxury, so he's going to have to run his way out. Good luck. There's a blinking Tinker behind you. Missiles, not quite enough. Yeah, I think he's just dead here, guys. Got him. Now, if they give up too many kills, then Kaipi will eventually get to that point where they're able to just constantly slaughter Power Rangers, and there's nothing that they could do ever. I don't think it's really going to get to that stage, but they do have to be a little bit careful with how aggressively they play. The Storm Spirit does have his Orchid. He's going to jump in towards Bambo. Dazzle is here, however, with the Grave. Killing off Bambo, now an impossibility, and they'll just lose the Storm Spirit. My god! Whirling Death, Timber Chain. Pretty good. And Storm Spirit, because he hasn't gone for that Bloodstone, really his health pool is not really that deep. He should have like 1,000-ish health at this stage. It's not exactly impressive. No, stop. I'm awake already. Stupid alarm. Kaipi getting quite a few kills under their belt. I think they need this Tinker to start building into those kind of more aggressive items. They need him to actually ramp up into some damage. He's still doing a decent amount, but that's mostly because he hasn't had to deal with the Storm Spirit initiation. Storm has had his hands full with other things. And my god, he's dead for a long time. That was like a 40-second respawn? I don't know, it just seemed really long to me. Maybe I was expecting Storm with Bloodstone, you know? It only has that 1,000 HP. And Timbersaw is doing more than enough to deal with that. Tower will not be denied. Still looking to go in here. Life's in the front. See the Echo Shell, so they will call it quits right now. I think there was a Demonic Purge mid-cast. You don't really want to slow yourself down with that. Demonic Purge does hurt if you're just a Shadow Demon. Still, the tower is down. If Power Rangers able to get a pipe, they can maybe burst their way through or just brute force their way through what Kaipi have just to get those structures, a little bit of chip damage done. It looks like Darkseer is going to be going for that. Hand of Midas paying off in spades, by the way, for this Darkseer. A Mechanism, pipe into Guardian Greaves, into... I don't know, Shiva's is actually really bad here up against what Kaipi have. What, Sheepstick is probably something you are going to be angling towards. It just doesn't seem like armor is really a necessity because no one on Kaipi is actually right-clicking. They do have a lot of like physical damage amplification with Gush, Dazzle, and the Natural Order, but you can amplify like 10 damage. It's still only going to be doing 20 damage. I feel like Shiva's is probably not it. Just go for the more aggressive intelligence items. Hell, man, you can go for Bloodthorn as a Darkseer. I think that's like, maybe just like, you know, for starters, like the Orchid type items, stack that up. Refresher Orb, Aghanims, get those type of items. Aghanims actually isn't even that good. Refresher Orb is worthwhile though. They're gonna find Shadow Demon. He's gonna bubble himself, but he's gonna wake up into a Chakram. That means he's dead. Another kill for Kaipi. Chalk it up. Are they really going to try to push here? It's going to be so glacially slow. Man, this draft, it seems like this is just like a deadlock draft until someone gets some miraculous initiation or someone makes a big error. I feel like that error is probably going to come out from the Storm Spirit just because of like his inherent pushing too far in this. He's gonna get jumped by a Tinker. Blink missiles, gonna be dodged. Heat seeking, it lies apparently, but Storm, he has a TP. He's gonna get out of there. That was close, guys, but I feel like something like that is gonna happen to really get Kaipi an opening to slowly push down to tier 2, or at least put damage into a tier 2. Everyone else on Power Rangers, I mean, they are very slippery, but sooner or later, I think that combo is going to work. You just Yule Scepter in for the Stomp. You teleport in your Tinker on the Elder Titan Spirit. And then, hey, I mean, it forces them out. You're able to slowly take down the tower. If Power Rangers were actually here, they could defend this, like, so easily. Or at least fight over it. They're going to concede that one, though. Kaipi now starting to look better and better in this game. Power Rangers still have a little bit of a lead, but it seems like all this lead that they do have isn't really translating into a hell of a lot. I mean, Life has a fresh Diffusal Blade. We haven't seen Terrorblade really do much of anything. He has a lot of farms, so he can do things. Oh, Bambo gonna run into a Shadow Demon. Stompland. He's actually gonna miss. That was a little bit weird, but I don't think it matters because he's gonna set up for his own death. Look at that Disruption. Such a great spell to set up for damage. Sometimes in the wrong way. Sometimes in the wrong way. And they're still trying to rat this out, Power Rangers. They're conceding a lot of the map here to Kaipi. Playing around the Ravage, I suppose. Playing around the fact that Timbersaw is just this dangerous. Tinker as well can defend and attack at the same time. They need the Storm Spirit to actually get on top of the Tinker if they're going to make these kind of split pushy plans work. It seems like that's just not going to be in the cards just yet. They have the pipe now, so it's at least going to be more possible to see Power Rangers get something done. It just seems like Kaipi are calling all the shots right now. Gotta love those Tinker games into push comps. Power Rangers, they're still getting enough farm in the Storm Spirit and a lot of farm on the Terrorblade. So looking towards late game means that Kaipi will need like a Sheepstick type item on the Tinker. Or, I mean, he has a laser bounce right now, but still, goddamn, MKB should be the build, I think. Is it push time? Are they going to brute force it? They have the pipe. They have the Orchid on Storm Spirit. They're even smoked up. Unfortunately, they don't have vision. But if they see someone teleport in here... Oh, no. Bone 7. Yeah, he wasn't born yesterday. He's going to teleport all the way back near his tier 3. Messes up the missile cast, but TP's coming in now from the Timbersaw. Gonna try to go for goddamn. Does quite a bit of damage. Not quite enough to get the kill. Brings him down to half HP. Sunder is now here. And is available for an aggressive play. Goddamn, dropping low. Still not going to deploy the Sunder just yet. And he's going to get ravaged before he can actually use it. That's immediately 2 down. Now the Storm Spirit is going to jump in, but it's way too late. Gets destroyed by the Shadow Wave. The Dazzle Light's going to jump in. Smoke Screen. Going to try to take out the Dazzle with the Grave. He's not going to die to that. It's 3 down in favor of Kaipi. And now they're looking at life. Blink forward for the Gush. Whirling Death. Timber Chain. It's all there. He's going to jump to Cheshire Cat. Life is actually out of vision range, I think, but Cheshire Cat isn't. He's still in their sights. They have another Gush in 1 second. They don't have any great response to the Surge, though, so burst-wise, they're going to fall short. And it seems like Cheshire Cat and Ricky will both get out of there. Kaipi's draft. They are making these plays, and these are good enough plays to win them these fights, but again, it seems like these victories are kind of just empty. Killing off TB and Storm, those are big ones. Going for aggressive plays afterwards, still not going to happen just yet. Their lack of CC really starting to hurt them. Yule Scepter Stomp is a great setup, but until you get like a Sheep Stick on a Tinker or a Timbersaw, or like an Aghanim's Timbersaw to get around the lack of CC with just sheer burst, and that caliber of item, it's still going to be Power Rangers with the ability to get out of there. But that was like the messiest engagement ever from Power Rangers. Terrorblade at half HP should be looking for a Sunder. And Kaipi, they annihilated the TB. And then we're just able to crush Storm Spirit immediately afterwards. Sing Sing's gonna get jumped. He has a lot of backup here in the form of Bamboo, Earth Splitter. Gonna fly on through, connect onto nothing because of the disruption. But that means that the Shadow Demon is kind of screwed here, and he's gonna get chased down. Timbersaw in the meantime takes down the Ricky with the Whirling Death Timber Chain combo. It's going to be another 2 kills for Kaipi. When was the last time we saw Power Rangers actually get anything done in this game? They killed off only the ET in this bottom lane. That's it. Like, yeah, Orchid Storm is great if you can cast things with him. But he hasn't been able to do that. If he actually jumped in and tried to save the Terrorblade in the bottom lane engagement, I think it would have been maybe enough to get his Sunder off. And then the fight is just looking completely different. Goddamn is trying to build around this just by bulking up so he doesn't get insta-gibbed. But as he does build more health, Kaipi are going to be building more control, more damage. I mean, there's 2,700 on the Tinker. He still has a Null Talisman. Not really sure if Dagon's the build here. Not really sure if that's what he's going for. It's a perfectly fine item up against what Power Rangers have. So it is going to be a build that he can go for, and I would be okay with it. In the meantime, Sing gonna get a Sheep Stick, it looks like. Lincoln Sphere is pretty good versus Power Rangers, but honestly, probably not worth it. It probably just is going to be that Sheep Stick. Manta Style. Oh yeah. Timbersaw Illusions. Probably not. So yeah, I have Scotty up on the Terrorblade, which is nice. Almost a completed Bloodstone on the Storm Spirit, but it's going to be a pretty late one. They found Cheshire Cat. Earth Splitter is here. TP now. Going to be given to the Tinker. Earth Splitter's not going to do a ton of damage because Darkseer just has that much resistance, but he can't resist the Pure of the Timbersaw. And Earth Splitter usually does do a lot of damage, but because he has a million armor and magic resistance from the Pipe and the Mechanism, or I guess Guardian Greaves, I mean, that Earth Splitter was rather underwhelming, but man, Timbersaw doesn't care about that. He does not care about that at all. He has so many Bloodstone charges, near infinite mana on him. Ability to Flash Farm is there as well. Storm Spirit, there's a chance to go in for the Tinker. These are the type of situations where you kind of want to be as Power Rangers, just with eyes set on the Tinker. Your Storm Spirit's in the right spot. Ideally, everyone else will be in the right spot as well. They're just not. Bamboo now gonna run to goddamn with an Invis Rune. No, Shadow Blade actually. They're gonna see goddamn Stomp. You're not going anywhere. You're sticking right here. They're gonna have to use a Ravage here, I think, if they want to dodge Thunder. Jump into the Storm, but right into the Ravage. They'll take down the Terrorblade before anything. Now the Sheep Stick on the Storm. Gonna take down him as well. They do see the Ricky on the south end. He's gonna try to teleport out now, but the burst damage, oh, it's gonna be there with the Yule Scepter as well. They'll take down the Ricky in an ultimate 4-kill after that Darkseer death on the bottom lane. Power Rangers are walking into this Ravage. That's kind of what's happening. They're just walking in, and they're just getting hit with the Ravage. It's like one of the only tools that Kaipi have of actually CCing, or it was one of the only tools before the Sheep Stick came up on this Timbersaw, but it's landing with so much more consistency than you would otherwise expect from any given game, just by Power Rangers' position and play. And most of these engagements, though, being set up by this Elder Titan. This is not necessarily the reason why we see him picked up so much more often nowadays, mostly because of his ability to set up for kind of those early game kills. That's what makes him a little bit more attractive. But we already saw that from him. Now we're going to see him set up for these mid to late game kills as well, with the ability to initiate freely onto any given target, and at the same time give the Tinker something to teleport to with that spirit. He's just getting the jump onto Power Rangers every single time. And yeah, he's kind of the one to always die here for Kaipi. He's like half of their deaths. That's not the right button. Yeah, he is pretty much just like half of their deaths. 3-3-0. 0 deaths on the Dazzle. Wow. Good work, Dazzle. You don't expect that to be happening up against the Storm Spirit. But Bambo is doing it once again. Jumping from the Storm Spirit. Gonna scare Bambo a little bit. Thinking about the Stomp. Got Timbersaw moving in as well. He's going to get immediately silenced. He's going to purge that one off with the Echo Shell. Now the Stomp lands onto 2 heroes. Sheepstick onto the Storm Spirit. Earth Splitter going to come in. It's going to be mostly a miss, though, as Storm Spirit is going to jump in, assassinate the Dazzle with the smoke screen. Make sure you can't get the Gray off. Now Ziggy's in the front lines. That's not where a Tinker wants to be. They'll drop him as well. Now they're going for Bambo, and that's going to be a 3-kill going the other way now, as Power Rangers actually are able to fight as a team. Would you imagine that? Pipe, Guardian Greaves works pretty well when you're actually able to isolate and kill off these targets from Kaipi. The Timbersaw had no business in there. The save from the Shadow Demon was relevant on the Storm Spirit, and he was actually able to do quite a bit of damage afterwards. Is that his Bloodstone completed? Yes, it is. Awkward as hell to survive a fight like that and then get your Bloodstone. But beggars can't be choosers, right? Kaipi, they actually were not able to land a stun on this Terrorblade. He has not been able to get any right clicks in like any of the past fights. It's always just him insta-dying. But Power Rangers now are actually going to get a chance to show off kind of what their draft is really powerful at. Creating a ton of illusions and then just shredding towers. Disruption maxed out. And you got to know what skill build to go for as a Shadow Demon. And when you have a Terrorblade, or when you're up against like a Naga or a Phantom Lancer or any stat stacker, a Drow, a Luna, Disruption is an insanely valuable spell. Tower down in a flash. And we can see like Power Rangers have kind of been getting their ass kicked with like the past couple of fights, but just one great fight and suddenly they find themselves with a free tier 2 tower. And something that Kaipi have been working really hard to get, and that's just inherently what Power Rangers draft does better than Kaipi's. Bambo still sticking around with that Shadow Blade. If he runs to the Storm Spirit, that might be a little bit awkward. Storm Spirit's gonna get immediately sheeped up. Burst, is it enough? Storm Spirit, he can ball lightning out. He's going to get very far away to the south. So he's going to give chase Shiva's guard. He's going to try to teleport out of here. He's way down in the trees, and he will get out of there. Sheepstick, but no damage. That's awkward. I do feel like this Tinker, once he gets a Sheepstick or a Burst item, really either one, and that's probably not going to be happening again. So he's holding on to a lot of gold. Bone 7 with 5k. So much more than you ordinarily see on a Tinker. All of his items are worth keeping. Still, so like he's kind of 6 slotted right now as a Tinker. Kind of. But you can go for a little bit more of a brute force direct approach. You're level 18. I think like Bottle and Soul Ring, both of those at this point is a little bit excessive and a little bit redundant. And not in the good way. Building towards the Dagon, building towards the Sheepstick, the Ethereal Blade. Just get something on this Tinker, right? Ethereal Blade defensively actually seems pretty nuts here. Power Rangers, actually, like, all their damage comes out from physical sources, or from right-click sources. You know, they have some magic damage mixed in there with, like, overload and whatnot. But, you know, you can't really do that easily if the enemy's ethereal. Darkseer Illusions, the wall does some damage, but if you just are Tinker and if you're caught again in the front lines, just ghost yourself and then just walk out of there, right? Seems pretty easy. So I really like the defensive power of the Ethereal Blade in this game. Not to mention the fact that you'll just be able to annihilate people with it. There's that too. Terror Blade is kind of susceptible to those type of plays. Although it does have BKB now, so a little bit less so. Anything else interesting coming up? Cheshire Cat going for a Mystic Staff item. All the Mystic Staff items are really good on the Darkseer. I have a feeling he's going to go for Shiva's. The Arctic Blast is nice for sure. But, I mean, armor and attack speed slow is not really that useful up against Kaipi. I feel like it should be a Scythe of Ice. Just everyone get Sheep Sticks. Everyone get Refresher Orbs. And you're going to be good to go. Like, Tide Hunter has the Shiva's Guard. That's actually quite a lot of cash on Tide. And this is really good for his Power Rangers for the exact same reason why Ethereal Blade is good. Just, you know, repeat that. Physical right-click sources of damage. And we got Yule's on Dazzle. Try to keep himself safe for the Storm Jump. Nothing really too huge here. Wonder if Bambo is actually able to get another item. It's very rare that we see like Elder Titans get an extraordinary high amount of gold. First of all, they're played as support, so that is usually just going to happen. You just kind of pour. But honestly, I don't know what you get after this as Elder Titan. Vlad's is something that Kaipi lack right now, and it's pretty darn affordable. So they could do that. Oh no. Oh no, guys, that is not the question you want to see as an admin. Oh, unless they're just talking about pause time. That's whatever. Okay, it's fine, it's fine. We're good, don't worry, it's fine. Silver Edge is... Move, Shadow Demon, get your ass out of my way. Well, you know, I'll break down the items if he ever, like, gets rid of it. Okay, there you go. Silver Edge is relevant to break the Terrorblade. That might just be good enough. They're going to jump in towards the Storm Spirit, though. Stomp out of nowhere. Storm's not going to be able to jump out of here. Now here comes the Earth Splitter and the Ravage, probably at the same time. Sheepstick is there. No Ravage needed. Storm bursted down. Like 100 to 0. Easy peasy. And Ricky's trying to do what he can up towards the top lane, but up against the Tinker, that's not going to be a free push. Another perfectly executed kill set up by Bambo on the ET. Honestly, just mass Sheepsticks for both sides. Seems like that may just be the best possible build for these heroes. Maybe not Terrorblade, but certainly everyone else could get some pretty serious work done with that. Bambo once again on the hunt. At a certain point, there's going to be True Sight on the other side. But it's not today. They caught goddamn Life is here. Where's the follow-up? Timbersaw is coming in slowly. Ravage going to connect onto 2, however. Goddamn does have the ability to Sunder. He's going to get lifted up with the Sheepstick. Kind of stun stacking there. Another Stomp is there, though. And goddamn is going to get chain stunned to death. That's a fresh Sheepstick from Ziggy. Double Sheep there. Even with the Yules cast by someone. Was that Elder Titan Yules? I think it was. Yeah, TB, that was not the perfect play, but it was still enough stun duration just to out-control the Terrorblade. So yeah, there's your 5k gold being spent on the Tinker. It's in the Sheepstick. And now he like might just be powerful enough to solo kill the Storm Spirit. I'm not sure if his mana pool is necessarily deep enough. It's kind of close though, at least. If he has someone to help him out at all. At this point, you just Astral Spirit, everyone and their mom travels in. Free taxi service, man. Feels good. Maybe one day, Kaipi will be able to push into high ground. They're actually getting pretty close to 6 slotted. Timbersaw, like, he's got a gem, which you can give to someone else and get another item. Aghanim Scepter, probably that item, just for more damage output. But then, like, he's done. Moon Shards doesn't do jack on Timbersaw. A level 2 travels here is great. So maybe they're gonna go for something along those lines. But I mean, it's close to being completed. Like, that's the point. He's not gonna get decisively stronger in the next couple minutes, or with his next few item pickups, except for the Ags. That one is gonna be a big leap of strength. Doubles Chakram. Yeah, seems like a good Aghanim Scepter upgrade. 27 Bloodstone charges also. I think this is an instant respawn. It's like if you're equal in level with your Bloodstone charges, then it should be instant or close to instant. So yeah, he has the Bloodstone into travel back in, into buyback, into try to get back in some other way. Get a refresher orb so you can refresh your travels and get back in again. And it's hard killing off Timbersaw once, let alone thrice. Did he actually... Oh, he's gonna get plate mail. Some Shiva's guard for him, more armor. Oh, runs into a Ricky. Do they have any true sight here? They have the gem and now they see him. Life is gonna lose his. Gem on Bambo, pretty good. He just shifted out Sing Sing into Bambo. I do feel like the Lotus and the additional plate mail item might be a bit excessive. If you just get a little bit extra damage, then you could probably just kill off the enemies before you actually need the extra survivability. I mean, it's still a good item to have. Level 2 travels is, I would say, is definitely better than the upgraded plate mail. Man, you're looking at like 30 armor just without any reactive charges. And up against illusions, your reactive armor fills up pretty quickly. Who knows? I mean, it's still, they're all still good items to have. Just talking about good items versus best items. Well, the tower is slowly going to be beaten down. 120 damage at a time. Jump in from the Storm Spirit. He's going to get the jump onto the Timbersaw right now. Sheepstick not castable. BKB's up on the Storm. They get the Vacuum Wall onto 2. That's going to kill off the Dazzle. And so the BKBs are holding up with the Terrorblade now as well. Timbersaw is going to pop 10 seconds till he's back online. Goddamn is going to let loose onto the Titan, just taking no damage because the Shiva's Guard finally unleashes a Ravage. Ziggy's going to jump right back in towards Goddamn. Stomp is going to be there. Missiles to take down the Terrorblade. That's a big kill for Kaipi. Now the Timbersaw, he's going to come right back in. Can they save their Tinker here? They're going to jump in, try to get the Storm Spirit off of him, and they will get him out of there with 30 HP. White Noise is going to dive in. Cheshire Vacuum back will get the kill there, but he's probably going to lose his life afterwards. Another Chakram, that's going to miss. Bambo still chasing after him. Additional Shadow Blade damage. The Timbersaw is on the case. Blink forward from everyone. Surge away. But, oh, blink away now up to the north. Bambo doesn't have a ton of mana. Oh, run away, White Noise. He might run into vision range here. Oh, I think he's probably going to get out of here. He needs to get a TP. Travels are coming back in. He's going to try TP out of here. They don't see him. He's going to escape. Wow. They take down the Tinker. They take down the Timbersaw. They get away with that Dark Seer. That is a good enough engagement for Power Rangers. They jump in onto the Timbersaw, the annihilation of the Dazzle first. Don't believe there was a weave there.
Radiant's top tower has been denied.
Kaipi are just playing this like kill game. They're still getting a lot of kills. The Timbersaw is in fact mortal, despite having 50 armor. You know, that's a fair and balanced amount. 72% physical damage resist. Yeah. I mean, the Terrorblade wasn't doing anything versus the Tidehunter, who only has 29 armor. So, I don't know if he could do anything versus this Timbersaw. Power Rangers actually find a fight where the Terrorblade is actually able to right-click things. Would you imagine that? He's actually coming close to a 6-slot status as well. You definitely keep these 4 items. Diffusal Blade, you upgrade. You may want to ship it out later for something a little bit more hard-hitting. Dragonlance definitely upgradable. Life, jump in, Hex. Gonna get bubbled immediately, but there's another Hex here. He's gonna have to blink away to something. He is out of detection range, actually. So, easy escape. This game is just not going to end. It's just not going to end. Kaipi don't have any way of ending it. Power Rangers aren't in any position to end it. We're in for the long haul. Cheshire Cat is so close to danger right now, and he has no idea. Oh. Bone 7's going to almost get jumped. Wow, TP out. Just in time. They're going to teleport back up towards the top lane now with Bambo looking to intercept. Actually going to go for an AC next. All of this armor is coming up. Big for Kaipi. Actually caught the Storm Spirit right now. He does have a BKB. The Chain Stun has to be there. Or the burst damage. That's good too. Storm Spirit down for 70 seconds. No buyback. Or I guess 60 seconds. No buyback.
Dire's middle tower
But again, I'm not really sure if Kaipi pushed fast enough to actually do anything off of this caliber of pickoff. It doesn't get better than this. Like, Storm Spirit down means your Tinker can breathe easy, means your Dazzle can breathe easy. Means that you can actually force an objective. Or at least, in theory, force an objective. Oh, they're going to find a Ricky. Going to get a nice little 2-for-1 here. BKB is going to be popped, but that's just a runaway BKB. Run away, Ricky, run away. The big bad Timbersaw wants to kill you. It's just wasting time. The BKB charge on the Ricky 10 seconds is now down. But just buying space for the Storm Spirit to respawn. Maybe good enough here for PR. AC on Elder Titan actually is a pretty big item. Lets everyone do a little bit more damage versus those structures. Helps them, at least, gives them the opportunity to kill off Roche. Not even sure if they have item slots open for Aegis. But hey, we're getting there on the carry Elder Titan, guys. He needs to go, what, AC Daedalus? And then just right-click things, because, you know, the enemies have no armor, so it's pretty good. Kaipi can't kill Roche right now. Elder Titan Spirit, not going to see anything. The smoke is going to keep them hidden. Wall Lightning, blind jump in, going to do nothing. They're going to try to steal Roche from under Kaipi's nose. They're definitely trying for it. Kaipi aren't that far away. Goddamn doesn't really have a ton of damage, though. He's stat stacking, which makes his illusions really good, but there's no MKB, Daedalus, or anything similar. But it seems like they are just going to get it anyway. Storm Spirit has an open item slot. Easy double life. Oh, they see him now. Stomp. Gonna land, but Storm Spirit already has his Aegis. Teleport in for the Tinker. Do they really want to fight this? Earth Splitter gonna come in, connect onto 2 heroes. Ziggy, though, he doesn't have a BKB. He's gonna get pulled in and immediately dropped. He's gonna be forced to buy back, and he will do just that. Timbersaw's in the middle of this fight right now, but there are no real trees to teleport to. Goddamn, so the BKB holding is just right-clicking away onto the Timbersaw. Eventually will drop him low, and now they got the Tidehunter kind of going in onto goddamn Ravage. Is going to connect onto Heroes Refresh. They have another Ravage, but they're not even going to need it to kill off the Terrorblade. They already take him down, and the Timbersaw is still alive. They're going to try to go for Cheshire again, but he's going to jump out to the left side of the fight, and they're now going to change their sights towards the Storm Spirit. They have a Yule Scepter. They have the damage to kill off his first life. With the smoke screen there, I don't believe they have enough to kill him off a second time. Stomp from the Elder Titan is going to be there with the Sheep. They will kill him off a second time. 70 seconds down from the Storm. Tinker, though, dies back in that. And for Kaipi, yeah, they get rid of the threat of the double life. They kill off the Terrorblade. They kill off the Storm. These are some pretty nice trades for Kaipi, but it costs them their Tinker. And without their Tinker, even with this AC on ET, I'm not really sure if they can make any plays here. And if they do decide to go a little bit too deep, they have no buyback on the Tinker. If they lose a fight, might just lose the game immediately afterwards, given the speed at which Power Rangers push. So, much like every single other fight from Kaipi, this is a win, but a kind of a pointless win. At a certain point, these kind of wins with no objectives are like actually completely useless to them. That point happens when you have level 25 Timbersaws who are 6 slotted. Like, yeah, you win a fight, you get, what do you get out of that? You get you get Bloodstone charges, and that's it. You get guaranteed buyback gold. You get the ability to buy gems and wards. It's just pointless, man. It just doesn't do anything for your team. Everyone else is still, you know, very far away from that. The Tidehunter surviving or the Dazzle surviving, like those are still relevant gains to be had there. But this is really becoming problematic for Kaipi, the fact that they just don't have any heroes that are good at killing structures. Oh, Storm Spirit gonna jump in with BKB, vacuum back into 3. They're gonna walk away cleanly from that. There's no Ravage here, so everyone from Kaipi, I feel like, just have to run. They'll lose the Dazzle first. Now we got Sing Sing in the middle with the Tidehunter. Gonna actually sheep up the Storm Spirit, do quite a bit of damage, but he will be able to jump away as Goddamn just holding his ground with the BKB. Stomp is gonna land onto everyone, kind of isolating Goddamn from the rest of the squad, but there's no opportunities to get kills here. He's got the pipe barrier still up. Gonna try to go for Sing Sing, but again, 50 armor doesn't really do all that much. Now they're gonna find Ziggy with a couple right clicks. Tinker down for 90. They go in for Bambo, purge him up. He's gonna go invis, and do they really not have detection? He's gonna try to stomp instead. Lands onto goddamn damage onto this Terrorblade with the tower. Right clicking, they get the kill, and he doesn't have a buyback either. They're gonna jump in again with Sing Sing right on top of the Shadow Demon. He has a Force Staff. And he's gonna actually be able to get away because Sing Sing decides to go instead for life. Man, that is not the fight that Kaipi were really looking for. A fight where you have no Ravages. A fight where the Storm Spirit BKB and the Terrorblade BKB just brick wall all of your damage output. Fortunately for Kaipi, those BKBs are starting to dwindle in duration. So they'll probably be able to get out of there in time. We also have a Darkseer though with that Lotus Orb. Being able to reflect the likes of Laser or a Sheepstick, which there are many, is pretty big game. Oh my god, he's actually going to go for it. I was kind of kidding in the beginning, but I mean, the lack of objective-based pushing from Kaipi is so apparent. It's actually possible for them to do stuff now versus the towers. This is a good amount of minus armor, guys, and that's for everyone. Even though they don't really have a ton of attack speed or whatever, not a ton of base damage, I think it is possible now for them to win a fight and then actually take a tower afterwards. I don't think they could actually get anything else to help them in this, except for, you know, just plus damage items, which probably isn't going to be the build for anyone here. Unless Dazzle finds himself with, like, enough gold for, like, I don't know, some sort of damage item. They're going to jump in towards Bone 7, but this time he's got backup in spades. Echo Shell is going to go up. Storm Spirit going to teleport out. Ravage and Sheepstick, though, kind of overcommitted. But either way, Storm Spirit is down. And now's the time to test for buybacks. You get out there with your Tinker. The Storm Spirit, yeah, he's dead, so you're going to see if you can get anything off of this. They'll very quickly realize there is no buyback on the Storm. He decided to buy out for an ultimate orb. 10 stats, not good enough, man. Buyback is much better than 10 stats, because you get, you know, like several hundred stats when you buy back. Oh, jumping towards mid lane. Ziggy's going to trade his life for Shoudian. There's a Ravage onto Goddamn. He's got a Sunder. Damage onto Goddamn. Not quite enough. He gets the Sunder out. And now he's going to pop all these illusions. Sing Sing's going to arrive onto Cheshire Cat. Trying to take down the Darkseer first. BKB, though, going to pop, and suddenly they can't do any damage to him. Especially when they have the smoke screen there. They're stuck in it as well with the Purge. They'll just bum rush the Tidehunter, take him down, and at the same time keep Cheshire Cat alive. Earth Splitter, will that kill him off? It seems like it will be just enough. But Sing Sing's still very healthy in the fight. He's going to try to go up against Goddamn. Sheepstick is up once again. Timber Chain, but he's in the smoke screen now. Stomp from Bamboo, going to once again miss. Another Chakram onto Goddamn. He's going to pop his BKB. He has a TP out. He's going to decide to just run away instead. I think if he just TPs, he probably gets out. He's going to try to juke around the trees, but Timbersaw says screw all that noise. I'm going to get around this. There's another Sunder available in this fight. However, he's going to get sheeped up. Stomp now onto life. He's going to dodge it with the Tricks of the Trade. Still hitting onto Bamboo. Now the Spirit's going to drop life. Blinked up to the north. The Creep Wave is going to see him, but there's no detection here, so the Creep Wave loses its sight. Now Goddamn literally stuck in a corner with Timber Chain and the Whirling Death there. Timbersaw is taking quite a bit. He's got to disengage away. Goddamn is now starting to shred down Bamboo. Gonna go invis. This is like the final raid boss here for Kaipi. Timber Chain back in, another Sheepstick, and they get the kill finally. But Storm Spirit returns to this fight. Is he really gonna go for this one? If Terrorblade can't do it, I don't think Storm can. They take down the Terrorblade, but more relevant than that, for Power Rangers, I would say that is maybe a narrow victory. They're able to kind of waste the death of the Storm Spirit up towards top lane by forcing a fight elsewhere by split pushing over in the mid lane. Kaipi are forced to make a response there, and their potential push up this top lane after that Storm Spirit kill is now down the tubes. They're going to jump in towards the Dazzle, and he is so screwed right now. Oh, actually, Sheepstick, he's actually going to get out of there. Sing Sing right around the corner. Storm Spirit does have quite a bit of mana to get himself down to the south. Are they going to chase after this? They have Blink Daggers. They have a Forced Suicide. And again, we find ourselves in the exact same position as we just had. Power Rangers were able to split push out that one, but I'm not sure if they're able to get that same luxury here. Power Rangers are not, Kaipi rather, are not that healthy. So it's going to be a little bit more of a scrappy engagement. But either way, they're going to try to test the waters for buybacks. Terrorblade and Storm. These are both heroes that you want to buy back with at the same time. So if Terrorblade buys back and Storm does not, I'm pretty sure that's a pretty big signifier to Kaipi that the doors are open. Desolator AC. Minus armor, boys. It's going to be enough to bring this tower down, it seems. Jump in, vacuum. No wall, however. Great vacuum, but there's no follow-up at all afterwards. They get another vacuum as well. This time there's a wall there, but they've already lost their Shadow Demon. Now Cheshire Cat is entirely spent, and now he has to deal with the big bad Timbersaw. The Earth Splitter's going to come in, hit him, but not do a whole lot because of the BKB. Goddamn, now going to return to the fight. Still no Storm Spirit. Sing Sing is kind of in here all alone. Missiles, as help, is going to be here. He's just not taking any damage, though. He has so much armor. Ravage is going to be completely wasted against the BKB. Sunder now can keep goddamn healthy. 14 seconds left till the Storm Spirit's back, but they actually find a Sheep's going to goddamn, they take him down. He does have a buyback. He's going to spend it in about 10 seconds, I'd imagine. They do snipe the Darkseer, though. Finally, the Bane of Kaipi always escaping. Storm Spirit's now back. They can buy back with a Terror Blade. Storm Spirit's gonna jump right in, but oh, what happened? He didn't do anything. He just jumped in and just didn't cast anything. Did he? It was BKB, so nothing could have actually stopped him. But either way, they're gonna go right into the tier 4s. 21, the Storm Spirit is in a lot of trouble. Will go down again, and now goddamn, he just bought back. He's gonna fall as well. Kaipi are going to take this game. Ricky and Shadow Demon cannot hold this back, and life agrees with me. After a 56-minute grueling fest of kills and nothing but hero kills, Kaipi are finally going to take it. The Desolator, the AC, actually letting Kaipi do that, but perhaps more relevant than that was their response time. It was the Travels and the Timbersaw and the Tinker, the fact that they were able to constantly snipe out that Storm Spirit, who also just never had buyback for whatever reason. It's going to mean that Kaipi are going to gain a very, very scrappy victory for Game 1. But this is a best of 3, guys. We'll see if the other games can compare. It's definitely a high bar set. I'm Mikelorus. Pleasure casting these games for you guys. I'll be right back for Game 2 between Kaipi and Power Rangers to see who's going to be facing up against Fantastic 5 in the Grand Finals.